Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Canon Chatter TV. We are finally back after 2 weeks off with an international break. And my word, it is good to be back. My apologies, we're a bit late tonight. I've had a mad day, and I literally finished prepping the show like about 3 minutes ago. And I apologize if it's not the normal sort of loads of graphics and stuff, but that's just how it is. No G tonight. G is making his way down to London as we speak. He has some work down there this week, so he will not be able to make it. But we are, as always, joined by my ever-present co-host, the lovely Lottie. How are you tonight, Lottie?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm really good. I've had a good weekend. It's been a nice, it hasn't been a nice 2 weeks off. I've had a bit, as you know, I've had a bit of an awful time, but it's nice to be back. And it's nice that football's back as well.
Yeah, no, I know you've had a bit of a tough time with work and stuff. And I've had a few things going on over the international break as well. So it's great to be back and to get a chance to talk about what we love, which is our football club, the mighty Arsenal. And obviously apologies to everybody who was ready for watching on Friday. I had to go and get my flu jab on Thursday afternoon, and I woke up on Friday just feeling like absolute death. And I couldn't focus, couldn't face sitting in front of a computer for an hour or two on Friday night. So we decided we'd hold off to tonight. But you know what? We'll have a good show. We'll have a laugh. There's plenty to talk about. So what we'll do, we'll roll the credit and we'll get started.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing. The first time it's happened.
All right, so as I say, welcome back. Great to be back after the international break. Did you watch much of the international football?
Not a single bit. I was watching the Arsenal ladies, and that just made me smile. Top of the league, happy days.
Fair enough. To be honest, I have not seen football in 2 weeks. I haven't even seen any of the Premier League over the weekend. I just haven't had time. Just so much going on. Let's read a few of these comments. There's a few in there already, so let's see what we've got. Swarat, evening Swarat, how are you? It's Canon Chatter time. Chris, a bit of a WWE reference here for any D-Generation X fans. For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. And ladies and gentlemen, that's not how it goes. Let's get ready for Canon Chatter. Got to do it right, Chris, honestly. Russ, evening all. Hope you're well. Evening, Russ, how are you? Well is maybe a stretch. I'm certainly getting back to being okay, but it's been a rough weekend with the sort of flu symptoms. Love that reference. Lee, hi guys, hope you're well. Russ, saying the champ is here. Good evening, friends from the Armory TV. Who knows who that is? Could be Tony. Could be
Canis. It could be Can. It could be any of them. I think it might be Canis though. It might be. Let us know who's behind the Armory TV. Actually, it could be Tony as well.
Yeah, which one is on tonight? Russ, Michael Buffer. Yeah, Chris, was it a Michael Buffer or was it a D-Generation X quote you were going with there? It's the Michael Buffer boxing intro. Okay, call yourself a boxing fan. Yeah, but it's similar to the start of the D-Generation X one. So anyway, right. Okay, so now we've got through that. Thank you, everybody, and make sure to keep the comments flying in because do you know what? We love it, and it's what sort of is setting us apart is the amount of interaction we get. So, what's been going on? The clues, of course, is Tony. My old hometown of Plymouth. Yeah, so lots been going on over the international break, and the first thing I want to touch on is the Newcastle takeover and get some thoughts around that. I put out a poll the other day on our Twitter account, And it was interesting to see that I think it was close to 60% had said that, yeah, it was fine. They were, sort of not necessarily in favour of the takeover, but there was no reason why it shouldn't have been ratified by the Premier League and the FA, which I was quite surprised at how many people were okay with it. What was your thoughts, Lolly?
Do you know what? I am one of those people that are okay with it. Newcastle fans have been happy for such a long time, and we're in the same position, and they finally got what they wanted. I mean, I do feel like there's going to be a lot of change up there. If you look at that team right now, I think the only person that will survive is St. Maxim, and that's it. I mean, him and his daughter were watching today, or it might. I think it was his daughter. Shoot me if I'm wrong. But yeah, no, it's good for them. It's nice to see some change, but my only concern is the amount of money that they've got and they're going to spend, because their financial fair play rules don't come in for, I think, is it 2 years, I think. So that team is going to be absolutely transformed.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Sorry, hold on. I mean, the thing with it is, I was really surprised. I don't know, you guys in the chat, tell me what you think. Really surprised just with how okay people are, and the fact that, the comments were sort of along the lines of, City and Chelsea did it, so there's, we shouldn't be stopping Newcastle from doing it. My issue with it is the fact that, we've all talked about how City and how Chelsea have effectively bought the league title and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about how we want our owners to invest more money. We're okay with Newcastle coming along, and effectively what they're going to be able to do now, it may take a couple of seasons, but they're going to be able to buy their way into the top four. Okay? But yet, we have so much issue with the Super League, which was, Newcastle are buying guaranteed European football, essentially.
Yeah. And
we had an issue with potentially getting guaranteed European football. So, I mean, what is the difference?
With that league, we would have been one of the. Well, I'm not going to make an excuse because there isn't really any difference, if I'm honest, apart from the fact that we can get relegated from the Premier League, and we have to fight our way to come back up. If we were in this Super League, that they were called, no, sorry, can't get my words out tonight, guys. If we were going to go into that Super League, we'd be sitting down the bottom with the two Bob Mob up the road, and we wouldn't see the North London derby in London. We'd be seeing it in places like Australia, the US. I mean, that's great for them fans, but how's it a North London derby when you're not going to have it here? Is it the way I saw it is they were effectively trying to take our sport, our clubs away from us, and that's why I went. I mean,
but I don't think there was ever
we put pause to it for the moment, but it's not over. This idea, this conception has been around since 1997. That's when the Champions League conception was around. And you can look at that now, that's been around for years. It's coming, it's whether we allow it to happen. Because the fans are the clubs, and they like that. These rich owners, they forget that.
Yeah. The thing with it is, firstly, we haven't actually backed out of it yet. None of the clubs have actually officially backed out of it. They're all still technically
it's on pause.
Involved. I mean, the big issue comes down to what we were all sort of crying out for was the sporting integrity side of it. But when we allow this much money to be involved in the game, there isn't sporting integrity anyway. So it's what can we do? It isn't fair to turn around and say, no, Newcastle can't have mega rich owners, because we've allowed Chelsea to have it. We've allowed Man City to have it. Arsenal have a rich owner. He just doesn't want to spend the money. United, the Glaziers, have money. They're rich owners. So we can't turn around and say, no, it's not fair in Newcastle because of sporting integrity. So, yeah, it's a difficult one for me. It's, they're effectively, I mean, there's a comment in there. I've seen Ryan, Mr. Arsenal podcast, saying, imagine after all this hype, these new owners don't actually splash the cash the way we're expecting them to, but we know they will. at the end of the day, they're not coming into it to be, bit part players. They're coming in because they want to win trophies and they want to show off their wealth. That's the thing. For these, Saudis and stuff, it's about showing off their money. It's not actually about anything else. They want to prove we have the most money, we can buy what we want. And the other thing I'd seen was people saying that, it's Newcastle, they'll struggle to attract players. I don't think they will for 1 second. Man City have been able to attract players. And Man City, for me, arguably, weren't as big a club as Newcastle.
They're still not.
Sorry. Newcastle have they might not have won very much in their history, but they have a much richer tradition. They have an incredible fan base. And you look at some of the players that they've had over the last number of years. You've got your Alan Shearers, you've got Beardsley, David Ginola. There's some great players there. So all it takes is the right money being thrown at the right players, and they'll come. So, yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, you guys in the chat, we'll have a wee look at some of your comments here and see where we got to. So, Lee, back to wrestling. Any wrestling fans here, please let me direct you to Cultaholic Wrestling YouTube and Twitch channels, which I'm kind of involved in. No worries. Ryan, evening everyone. Evening, Ryan. Imagine if Newcastle get relegated this season. They won't. They'll spend big in January.
Yeah.
Ryan, that was the one I'd read out already. Chris still got to cut to January and probably be in the bottom three. Yeah, potentially they will be in the bottom three come January, but I think they'll spend a lot of money, and they won't be in the bottom three come the end of the season. Newcastle will eventually overtake us. Give it 2 to 3 seasons, we're going to fall further and further behind with the owner we have. More than likely, Russ. Chris, I still think Fulham and QPR thought that also when they got a billionaire owner, and look where they are currently. Yeah, that's true, but this consortium that have taken over Newcastle are not billionaires. They're multi-billionaires. Their wealth is more than the rest of the Premier League put together. So I can't see them sitting back and not buying plenty of big players. Jamie, that's cool. Some of the nostalgic stuff is great. Would you like to see custody of Paul Heyman style match? Obviously talking about wrestling there. Tony, haha, how slow am I? I've just figured out who WCWF is. Okay. There's talk of Haaland and Mbappe, when in reality they will probably end up with Sterling, Zaha, and those looking for a payday with no interest in the club. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not going to attract Mbappe's and Haaland's yet, because they're going to want the European football, but they are going to attract some big names. Lee, well into Brock versus Reigns, obviously more wrestling stuff. Jamie didn't Rubinho, thought he signed for United. Yeah, I'm not sure if he thought he signed for United, but I mean, certainly that was a deadline day signing, 34 million, I think it was. And it was kind of a shock for everybody. But that was the start of City attracting sort of big name players. Russ, I think a lot of it will depend on who comes in as the next Newcastle manager. Do you see talk of Emery? Newcastle looking at Emery?
No.
Yeah. Chris saying Harry Kane to Newcastle. He's more chance of winning something than Newcastle than he does Spurs, doesn't he?
That is true.
Tony, who knows? This Newcastle takeover could prompt Cronkies to sell. I live in hope. I'm not sure necessarily that will prompt the Cronkies to sell. It may prompt more people to bid, which may lead to more opportunity, but who knows? Lee, I'm not sure what the wrestling conversation is going on at the minute. Chris just missed my stop while writing a comment. It's all right, the walk will do you good. And Jamie, he didn't know there was another Manchester club apparently, right? I had not heard that. I knew, it was sort of a last minute thing. I know there was an issue with, was it Essien? Had signed for he had signed for United when he thought he was signing for Chelsea or something, and
think so.
and then he ended up having to go to, or United ended up having to sell him to Chelsea. But yeah, no, I didn't know that about Mourinho. With the Newcastle thing, feel a bit bad for Steve Bruce. Yeah. I mean, you do, because Steve Bruce knows that his days are numbered. And it must be very hard for him doing that job, knowing he's just waiting for them to replace him.
No, definitely. I mean, he's done the best with what he had. He did the best he could, but now the money's arrived. He's done his 1,000 games now.
Yeah.
See you later. That's all that's going to happen.
Yeah. It's interesting, and it'll be interesting over the next few weeks now, seeing the players that they're linked with. So I've already seen the likes of Ramsey being linked with them. The talk of them going for Lacazette in January. Things like that as well. Obviously from the Arsenal point of view. It was John Owen McKell, not Essien. Sorry, you're right, Jimmy. Thank you. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see who they're linked with. I seen someone talking the other day about they were glad that Saliba hadn't gone there on loan, because obviously they'd be doing everything they could to get him to stay then. So
he'd be guaranteed first team football there.
Yeah. If anything, I think we maybe did ourselves a disservice by selling them Joe Willock in the summer. We should have loaned them. Could have demanded more for him. Seeing they're going to have very deep pockets, but
no, I don't know if you managed to see the Everton game earlier, right? Iwobi missed so many sitters, and I'm thinking, how is this guy a footballer? And then I remember we sold him for 40 million and we fleeced Everton. So that's literally my highlight of my day. It made me feel so much better. But I think he missed about three absolute sitters today. It was brilliant.
Chris saying Bruce will be gone by tomorrow morning. He was given the 1,000th game as a token gesture before he's sacked. You may well be right. Because realistically, even if they had replaced him during the international break, the chances of Newcastle beating Tottenham today were probably very slim anyway.
No, definitely.
Might as well give him the game and then sack him after than give a new manager the game only to lose on his first game. So, anyway, right, let's move on. So something else that happened over the international break was Thierry Henry's comments on Mikel Arteta. Did you see them?
I sort of saw it knocking about, but I refrained from getting involved with the conversation.
All right, well, let me just read out what he has said. So this is the quotes from Thierry Henry. I don't know if things are going in the right direction. I watched the Brighton game. I've seen us beating Norwich before, winning at Burnley, beating Tottenham at home, because we always beat Tottenham at home. I was more than happy when we beat Tottenham, as we were on a good run, but I was waiting to see a performance away from home against a team that passes the ball like Brighton, and instead we suffered. So he sounds like he's a bit dubious as to how far we've come under Arteta. And obviously, I mean, they did play together very briefly whenever Henry came back to the club for his couple of months. I mean, what do you make of these comments from Henry?
Do you know what? It's kind of, how do I put this without feeling like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love him, but there's a time and a place when you're meant to be saying these things. And at that point, I didn't think it was a good idea. Like, sorry, I've just seen Russ Morgan's comment. Sorry, guys.
Not like you to refrain from the conversation.
Yeah, I meant my language. When otherwise Stephen will not be happy with me. I forgot my trail of thought now, Stephen.
So we're talking about obviously Henry's comments, and you were
there's a time and a place, and I just don't think during an international break it's the right time. Yes, we're all a bit dubious after that Brighton performance, but as I had a very slightly heated debate with G, you've got to remember these Brighton players have been playing together for absolutely years, and we've only just flung our constant final 11 together this season. I know for every lineup I've done, my starting 11 hasn't changed this season because I think it will work, and that's how I think Arteta wants to play. But it's just, you can't compare us to Brighton when Brighton have got their relationship of the defence in the middle and then the forwards. We haven't got that. G has said before, we are missing the spine of our team. We haven't got that forward. We haven't got that midfielder. We haven't got that defender. But it's all slowly emerging. It takes time, and because we're so spoiled, and I will say that because of all the early 2000s, as Arsenal fans, we have been spoiled, and we expect things to be done ASAP in a blink of an eye, and it doesn't. It takes time. I mean, and that's what I was trying to explain to G last time. When you can see that relationship with that back five emerging, but it's not completely there yet. It's still more to come from it. We like what we see, but it needs more time.
Yeah. For me, I have a slight issue with it in that I get annoyed when I see ex-players who they go into a commentary position, they go into the position of being a pundit, and then they go and they try to be a manager. And he has had 2 stints at management, one at Monaco and one at Toronto, where he's managed about 3 months, I think, at each one. So he's 6 months managerial experience. And let's face it, he hasn't exactly set the world on fire. And yeah, he's assistant to what's his name?
Company.
No, not Vincent Company. It's Roberto Martinez.
Yeah, sorry.
Isn't it?
Belgium.
Not thinking. He's an assistant manager there.
Yeah.
But he's the assistant manager there. He's not making the day in, day out decisions of an international team. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's not the one picking a team. He's just there and helping the coach a little bit, helping run some exercises and stuff. But he's not the one doing the head job. So from his own capabilities, based on that, if you were looking at those 6 months in charge of football teams, take away the fact he's an Arsenal legend, I wouldn't want him at Arsenal managing the club. I wouldn't want him at Arsenal even if he had done well, because I've said this before, I don't want Arsenal legends managing the club because of the way our fan base is, and you just don't want to see them turn on the legends. Arteta is not a legend of the club. He was an average player. He came in and did a job and was reasonably successful in time when he was there, but he was not a legend of the club. So I have no issue with him being back as manager. But I wouldn't want to see Henry. But like I say, I take umbrage to these players that have tried their hand at management and failed, coming out and then criticising other managers and the way other managers are doing things. It's the same with, I really like Gary Neville as a commentator, but ever since he went to Valencia and failed miserably, I found it a lot harder to accept his opinions on things and his criticism of managers. Because you're sort of saying, well, you couldn't do it. And it's all very well you sitting here saying that other managers are doing this and doing that and they can't see what they're doing, but you can see it. Well, you couldn't see it when you were in that job. So what makes you think that you're right now? So from my point of view, the Henry comments, I think, as you say, there's a time and a place. As a supporter of the club, I mean, I think we'd all kind of agree. We want more. We're not 100% sure, and we all want Arteta to do well. There are some that want him to do well and are quite happy to continue backing him to give him the chance. There are others that want him to do well but are fed up and want him out of the club. So it's, he obviously has a right to his opinion as a fan, but as someone who's very obviously in the public eye, I kind of just can't take as much notice of what he's saying anymore when it comes to knocking managers. I will when it comes to maybe the actual football side of things, but when he's knocking the manager, no, I don't really listen to it as much. So, yeah, let's have a look at what some of you guys are saying in the chat. Where we got to? It will be your Chamberlain for best bit of business we've done when selling someone. Yeah. I'll come on to that in a wee sec. Lottie, not like you to refrain from the conversation. Chris, I think Brighton was a point gained. You look at the weather and condition that night, and other times we would have lost 2 or 3-0. Yeah, I mean, there is that argument. But...
Sorry, Stephen, how many times can we blame the weather?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You just can't blame the weather. I know it was bad, and I know quite a few people went down there and got absolutely soaked to the bone. But you can't always blame the weather. If you really want to go there, you could say the pictures are poor quality.
Just saying there on the phone, because it's, for some reason, the comments aren't coming up on the feed here when people are commenting on Twitter. But Gary Scott 98 has corrected me. Henry coached Montreal, not Toronto. My apologies. I thought it was Toronto. It was Montreal. Yeah, if anybody is watching on Twitter, I don't know why the comments aren't coming through. So best thing to do is probably jump over onto YouTube and come through that way. That way they'll definitely all come through to us. Tom Vieira now chooses not to speak about it, which is fair enough. I read Henri's comments, but he also has an interest due to him being pally with Daniel Ek and this hopeful takeover of the club. Evening, Tom. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. I mean, do you think, is there the possibility that, Henri has an ulterior motive when saying some of these things, in the hope that if Daniel Ek takes over the club, that he is going to get the manager's job?
Of course, probably. It wouldn't surprise me, if I'm honest with you. I mean, he was at the Spurs game with Ek, so he's around. He's in and around the club. Just need. I think he's waiting for the opportunity to make the right kind of noise, and I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. If I'm honest, there's more to come.
Chris saying in Belgium ain't exactly world beaters either. Number 1 in the FIFA rankings. It's like Spurs bring out cup semi-final collectible mugs. Yeah. Number 1 in the rankings, but choke whenever it comes to the really big games.
Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Tom, that was quite ironic. I think that as well about Neville. And well said about Neville from Buzz3210. Thank you.
That's a new name.
That is a new name. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you've hit the subscribe button. So yeah, something else I want to touch on, and I don't have a graphic for it or anything, but we were linked with a potential move to re-sign Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain in the January transfer window, potentially on a 6-month loan, leading to a permanent transfer in the summer. For me, that's not one I want to see. I didn't rate him that much when he was at the club. I don't think he's done much since he's gone to Liverpool, obviously, other than win a Champions League and a league title and, whatever else. But you know what I mean? For him personally, I don't think he's kicked on. He's certainly no England call-ups, nothing like that. So for me, it would be a backward step us signing him again. What's your thoughts on that one, Lottie?
An absolute solid no. You can stay in the bin. No, I completely agree with you. But for me, it's got to be that time I went up to Liverpool just before he left, and we lost 5-0 to them. Before we lost, in the stands, when you go away, everyone's up in the stands drinking. Doesn't make a difference because the Stuarts are much more chilled. So he's warming up with Czech. Completely hits the ball over the fence, and just misses my side out, and I was not impressed. He just looked at us because there's a group of people turn around. The whole stand looked at him like, "What the hell?" And he just looked at us, and I'm like, "Are you serious? You're not even going to apologise?" So it's a solid no from me. I mean, as you said, it's got, in terms of watching him on the pitch, it's a definite step back. I mean, the only person that should ever come back is Thierry Henry. He's done it, and he's definitely not coming back again. So, no, thank you.
Okay. You guys in the chat, anybody want to see the Ox back at Arsenal? Chris and Chamberlain and Alba, and sit and talk about their haircuts.
I think Pogba's got the maddest haircut at the moment.
What's that?
Pogba, he's got the maddest haircut at the moment. He's got a big strip of blue down his hair. The last time I looked.
Have you seen the training pictures from Arsenal this week with Aubameyang?
Yeah, no, I saw that.
He's gone back to the long hair.
Yeah.
Extensions with the headband.
Yeah, Iwobi's got it as well at the moment. I saw that today. I looked at him, I didn't even recognise him. Iwobi's got that at the moment as well.
Swear saying Ox coming back to the club doesn't sound so good. I'm happy with the current set of players starting every week. Yeah, I mean, I still think we need additions.
No, definitely.
And we need probably another 3 in January, and then potentially changing out, another 4 or 5 next summer. The squad still needs a lot of work, but the Ox is just not one I would want to see. How is he going to fit into the current team? He isn't. It's a no from me also. Maybe Southampton will take him back, quite possibly, Tom.
Yeah, we got rid of him for 35 mil. I think that was another absolute bargain.
Yeah.
We got rid of.
Yeah, the day after he put in a no-show on the pitch against Liverpool, we sold him to him.
That was the Ox effect. They lost 5-0 in the next game, didn't they?
Yeah.
The Ox effect.
Let's be honest, considering his goal record, he was probably aiming for the net. What's that in reference to, Chris? Sorry, what did I miss there?
Oh, I think that's it. That's into my story in the stands and always having my head taken off, basically.
Lee Meadows, no thanks, Ari Ox. Think we've moved on. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely, judging by the first, obviously we're 7 games now into the league season, I do think we need still, for me, and I don't know whether you guys in the chat agree, and drop your comments in, I think we still need another 2 midfielders, central midfielders, and we need an out-and-out winger. Someone, when I say an out-and-out winger, I mean a winger that hugs the touchline constantly, not one that's constantly coming inside it. It has to be a hug the touchline winger, and another goal-scoring centre forward. I think so. For me, 4 players, 3 is a must. Minimum of 1 central midfield player, if not 2. The out-and-out winger and centre forward. What do you guys think? In terms of we're still a couple of months away from the January transfer window, but for me, that's the three areas we need to bring in. Lottie, for you, judging by the start of the season, obviously we've had time now to sort of assess the new players. What more needs added in January at this point?
No, you've got it completely spot on. We need to get rid of Lacazette if we're going to have any money from him. He needs to go in January, and then we'll need someone to replace him. And it's a question of it's a question of who. But other than that, we need to sort out like the middle of the park as well. Got to get some more depth in there. We can't be relying on 34 because he's out till January anyway. But can't as much as I love him and I think he's absolutely brilliant and I think he's capable of doing it, we can't rely on Sambi completely. We just can't do it.
Yeah. For me, I don't know about anybody else, but I would go for Bruno Guimaraes.
Yes.
From Lyon. He would be the one, top of my shopping list. I'll be bringing him in. Winger, there's talk of Niall Long, I think he's called, the Dutch international.
I think so.
Someone like him, or possibly Manor Solomon, who we were linked with.
Who did I see talk of? Oh, what's his name from Sweden? I think he's from Sweden. We were talking about him. No.
Winger?
His name begins with Y. Can't think of him off the top of my head. I saw it on Twitter today.
Isaac.
That's it. Isaac. That's it.
Yeah, but he's a forward. Yeah. He would probably be who I would be looking at as a centre forward. And then, if we're going to sign the 3 of those, we might as well just get a war. Let's just go all out and get a war as well. Make me happy. John Anderson, don't want Ox back at the club. He's injury prone and hasn't an improvement on any of our other current midfielders. Yeah, I agree. And as I said, he hasn't improved himself since he left. Chris, I think January will again be more about selling and cancelling contracts like last time. Clear out Lacazette and a couple of others. Quite possibly. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to just cancel contracts, though. we can't just, unless we're going to get another forward in, there's no point letting Lacazette go for nothing. In January, certainly. You might as well run his contract down to the summer. Same with Eddie and Nketiah. I think the difference was when we cancelled some of these contracts, we were getting rid of bad influences in the squad. Ozil, Mustafi, probably to a point Socrates, although not as much. But they were bad influences in the dressing room, because they weren't getting game time. They were causing problems, and we've seen the run we went on, and it's after they left, and we talk about the sort of the second half of last season, how we were the third best team in the league in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think so.
And that was after we got rid of these bad influences. So I don't know that we can really, keep cancelling contracts for no reason. Probably talking about Kolo, yeah, but that's potentially one. Kalashnik. Although, to be fair, Kalashnik doesn't seem to be causing any problems, and I've seen him in a few of the photographs and stuff, and he seems like he's part of the squad. So I know he was good pals with Ozil and stuff, but I'm not really hearing anything that he's causing problems. So, but potentially it is one we could get rid of. And then he might be going to Galatasaray. Have you guys heard about this news?
That is still a solid rumour, to be fair.
Yeah.
If he goes, good luck to him, honestly. He'll actually get game time over there.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've heard a couple of different things on that. I've heard that he's talking to them, but it's with the view to a summer move. And obviously, he can start signing pre-contract agreements from January. They're not supposed to be able to talk until January. But it happens all the time in football. So Chris, the likes of Kalashnik and those types, they're probably in Arteta's plans. But it really only is Kalashnik, from my point of view, that isn't, Lacazette isn't in the long-term plans, but he's still getting a bit of game time here and there. So
yeah, he plays for cup games.
Yeah. Lee Meadows, slightly different story. Ari Wilshere is a free contract to cover during the African Nations Cup. Makes sense to me. What's your thoughts on that, Lottie?
No.
No?
I don't want him back. He's Arsenal through and through, but no.
Okay. Jimmy, I'm assuming
Granit Xhaka will be back then as well, so no.
Centre midfielder, left winger, and centre forward. It's squad space though. Ryan, evening Ryan, how are you? Elneny leaving would leave us short. Yeah, it would, but then potentially he's away to the African Cup of Nations anyway in January. So potentially we'll be short. Which is why you would have thought that Arteta would have used the likes of the Carabao Cup to blood some of the youngsters. So that potentially if we needed them in January, if we didn't have anybody else, that we could use them. Scott, morning Scott, how are you? Looking forward to this match. Vieira Arteta head-to-head will be interesting. Two young managers. Well, you say young, but Vieira's 45.
He doesn't look 45 though.
No.
I don't think so anyway. So we can get away with young. Arteta's a bit greyer, and I think he's younger.
Yeah. Chris, Wilshere coming back reminds me of when United brought Scholes back out of retirement and it didn't really work. Yeah, but Scholes was retired. Wilshere's not retired. He's still only 29 years old.
But his injury record is pants.
But I understand there what Lee's saying, maybe a short-term contract of, 6 months to get us through to the end of the season and make reinforcements in the summer.
If we're going to do that, I'd rather do it pay as you play. Because when he gets injured, he gets injured.
Yeah.
And we need to keep that wage bill down. So
Tom saying Martinelli should get more game time. He only plays in the League Cup, it seems to me. Yeah, that's another one that I know certainly the Mirror have been trying to make an issue of with their clickbait articles. It really annoys me. You see the headlines that Martinelli's unhappy or Arsenal are worried that they're going to have another situation where the player wants to leave. You actually go in and read the article. There is no comments from Martinelli. There's no comments from anybody in the club that there's
just hot
any
air.
sort of unrest or unhappiness there. It's just clickbait journalism.
But you look at his training pictures. He's standing there smiling with Smith Rowe.
Yeah.
I hate that newspaper. I actually hate it. It just so much waffle and hot air.
I understand what people are saying about Martinelli and that, you know, they want to see him get more game time. But I've said this before. He's great at closing down. He's full of energy. Yes, he had a good start to his career, but he's not as good as we think he is yet. He has all the potential, but, you know, he still lacks a bit with his passing and stuff. And we need to be careful with
on that. Exactly. I mean, he's had a bad injury already.
Yeah. We need to be careful with him, but he certainly doesn't look unhappy.
No, he doesn't. The thing is,
he's a player that genuinely seems to love the club. And you've got to remember, Arsenal have given him his chance. He went to United for trials, and United didn't want them. You know, Arsenal have given him his chance, and I think he's the sort of player will have a bit of loyalty there, and will wait his turn. Sorry, you were going to say something before I really interrupted.
No. It was me who's butting in when you were talking, so I apologise. No, I just sometimes I find that like I know he's got all this lovely raw energy we love, but sometimes I feel like he's not in full control of it, and that's when his mistakes and the passing go downhill. As much as we love it, he needs to work on that and make sure he's able to control that energy, because he is a game changer.
Chris, isn't it worth bring up an academy player rather than just playing Wilshere 6 months contract to sit on the bench?
To be honest, Charlie has just turned 18 today, and I know all the Arsenal fans want to see him. I'd love to see him, but I just don't think he's ready. I think we just put too much pressure on these kids, and you can't win the league with kids. You just can't do it.
It's like Aziz. I was glad to see Aziz go out to Portsmouth on loan.
Yeah, me too.
Because again, he's another one that you kind of thought could be there or thereabouts, you know, sort of in and around the first team squad this season. But I'm glad he's going out and getting a year's experience playing some football. Because there's no point in him sitting on our bench to get, you know, 10 minutes here or there. Scott, in the middle of the park, we're 1 or 2 injuries away from catastrophe. It must be the priority in January. I'd be all right with Wilshere getting a pay-as-you-play contract. Yeah, I mean, that is a concern. That if anything happens, you're obviously 34s out at the minute. He's back
in January, just as party's going off. It's a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, but you could party and El Neni possibly both going in January. But even at that now, you know, if you look at it with 34 out, and Party's injury record, you know, if anything happened to his glass legs at the minute, you've all of a sudden got Sambi and El Neni. You're only 2 fit central midfielders.
Please don't give me nightmares.
You know, so yeah, I mean, there is an argument for Wilshere.
There is.
It's a difficult
pay as you
one.
play, not a 6 months contract. Pay as you play, because if his knees go or he's whatever the regular injury is, that's it.
Martinelli had his chance against Brentford and didn't grab that chance when it was there. He's an impact sub for me. Fair enough, Chris. Georgina, evening guys and gals. Evening, Georgina, our number 1 fan. How are you? Tom, Alan Hansen said that once when United won the league, Lottie.
Okay, you can't do it now with this amount of talent that is there from the senior players. Tell me I'm wrong, Tom. Honestly, you think the likes of Charlie Patino can go up against the Brighton defence? We can't even beat Brighton. We're not going to win it with the kids. I'm sorry. And Brighton have no end product at the other end of the field. That makes it worse. They can have Lacazette. He'd fit right in.
Lottie bringing out her inner Alan Hansen then. Okay, so let's move on. So yes, tomorrow night we have the visit of Crystal Palace, who, to be fair, in recent times we haven't had the best record against.
Nah.
Just made him laugh when he said it.
It's all right, Tom. Don't worry, Tom. It's cool.
So I'll just come back to this quickly. Scott, the Red Cannon. Scott, how are you? Hope you're on the mend and feeling a lot better. I know you were in getting an operation on, it was your gallbladder possibly, if I remember right. I hope you're feeling good again. What's your thoughts on Club Legends as manager? I don't want any as Arsenal managers. They always end up abused when it goes tits up. Yeah, I mean, obviously,
Don't want.
we spoke about this a wee bit earlier in the show, which is when we were talking about Henri's comments. And I was saying, and I think Lottie agreed, we don't want to see the likes of, I don't even want to see Vieira at Arsenal as manager, or Henri, because exactly what you're saying, Scott, they'll get abused. And you don't want that for legends. And just to sort of say what I said as well about Arteta, for me, Arteta is not a legend of the club. He's a player who came in and did okay, did a job for the club, and was reasonably successful in the fact that he got an FA Cup win and stuff. But he's by no means a legend, so I have no issue with him managing. But yeah, Henri, Vieira, the likes of those guys, no, I don't want to ever see them manage the club. Right, where have we got to? Let me try again. Think Brentford game shouldn't have gone ahead. In terms of COVID, is that?
Probably.
Yeah, because I know obviously, the Spurs were crying because they had 2 people out with COVID, so...
I think that might have been Scarlett, and I haven't worked out the other one yet, because Scarlett wasn't even on the bench for the first time this season, so it's definitely him and someone else.
Okay. Chris, ready for Zaha's one good game every season. Always seems to be up his game against us. He does, yeah. Which has been to his own detriment, because him scoring cost us Champions League football a couple of seasons back and cost him his move to the Arsenal. So... Scott, sorry, annoying when people turn up and ask something you've already spoke about. No worries, don't worry at all. I'm good, thanks. Gallbladder is out and I'm still here, back on camera tomorrow. Brilliant. And if anybody doesn't already, make sure and go and check out Scott's channel, The Red Cannon. I am due to be on a show, not with Scott, but with Gary, don't waste the tweet, who does a show on Scott's channel tomorrow night, Monday evening, / Tuesday morning at 12:30. UK time. I'm going to be on with Gary to talk about the Palace Arsenal game. So if you are up, obviously tune into that. So yes, back to tomorrow. And Patrick Vieira brings his Crystal Palace side to the Emirates. And this is Vieira's first visit to the Emirates, I believe, apart from a friendly match he was involved in. So this is his first time back in any sort of competitive capacity. I mean, obviously he's a club legend in terms of his football. But what are your thoughts on him as a manager?
I think I actually had got into a Twitter spat about this earlier. Someone was moaning that they wanted Vieira at the club, and they linked it for some utter ridiculous reasons. And do you know what? He's been sacked from both his small league clubs, and some people think he's qualified to manage us, and I don't think he is. Personally, I don't want him with us because it will ruin his legacy that he's left with us and why we love him so much. That's how fickle some of this fan base is, and I'd rather not risk that. But he's doing really well with what he's got. I mean, I think I watched a game a couple of weeks ago. Palace were losing, and second half they came out and absolutely tore the other team a new one. I can't remember which game it was, but he must have given them an absolute bollocking in the locker room, because it's Patrick Vieira, But yeah, no, I am going tomorrow. I'm very excited to see how that ground is going to be absolutely electric tomorrow night. It's just like he's coming home, and although he's managing Crystal Palace, he's still coming home to us technically. Although he does have to lose, I'm afraid. He has to lose. And I've just seen. I'm just going to pull up Tom's comment. I've now got this on replay, looping around my head, and that if that is sung with the whole ground with the Palace fans, well, the whole ground are fans, not it won't be Palace fans. I will make a video for the next show and for Stephen to show everyone, so you can just see what I think is going to happen. But that's one of my favourites.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, for me, Vieira he's obviously a club legend, as we've said. But as a manager, again, a bit like Henry, he hasn't set the world on fire. He had an interview for the Newcastle job back in, I think it was 2015, when he was head of youth development or something like that at Man City. And he didn't take the job. And I don't know whether he was offered the job and didn't take it, or he didn't get the job. But then he went to, he got his first full managerial job, which was at New York, which is owned by the same owners as City. So he was already working for them and got that job. And to be fair, he didn't do great. But then he got the Nice job, where he was there for about a year and a half, I believe. And the first season, he finished 7th, which was an improvement from 8th the year before. So he took them up one place. And then he got sacked after a run of 5 losses in a row in the second season. And if you look at what he's done at Palace, they are 3 points behind us and 1 point behind us in the table. So we're 13th, they're 14th. 3 points difference. They've won 1 game, drawn 4, and lost 2. So they've lost 1 game less than us this season. But you kind of argue for the players that he has, they should be doing better. So I'm not convinced. I'm really not convinced of him as a manager. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes this season. And I don't think, I'm confident, and we'll come on to it obviously when we go through the teams and stuff. I'm confident we can beat them tomorrow. We got the better of them at the end of last season with a 3-1 win, and that was the first time in, I think, 5 or 6 games we'd beat them.
Yeah, it was glorious.
Yeah. So, I'm still confident we can win tomorrow night. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how long they give him. Because they were quite happy with what Roy Hodgson was doing for year after year, which was keeping them safe.
Them up. Yeah.
Is that what Palace want now? Because they seem to be willing to invest a bit of money. They did spend a bit of money this summer. Do they want just another manager who's just going to keep them up? Or do they want to see some sort of progress? And I'm not sure that he's going to be good enough to progress them forward. But absolute club legend for Arsenal, and it will be great to see him back tomorrow night, and I hope he gets a brilliant reception. Here's an interesting question for you, and for you guys in the chat, drop your thoughts. Is he the best midfielder of that type we've ever seen at Arsenal?
I'm going to say yes, because he's as we did on our Q&A, he's my favourite. He always has been. And I am going to say yes. I mean, there's no one else like him. Stephen, I'm really sorry, but my battery on my laptop's going to die. I'm going to have to go find my charger. I will be back. So right. Sorry, guys.
So, yeah. Is he the best midfielder we've ever had at the club in that position? For me, I think in terms of what he achieved and the leadership qualities he brought to the club, then yeah. In terms of just natural ability, no. I actually think that there was someone at the club that we never got to see fully live up to their potential, who I think would have been better, and that was Abu Dhabi. But he was just injured so much, constantly on the injury table. But I actually think technically Diaby was a better player than Vieira. But Vieira, as a complete package for for what he did for the club, for his experience, for his leadership, for the wins, he captained the Invincibles, so from that side of it, yeah, absolutely the best that we got to see. But I think Diaby, if he had been injury free, could have been better. So we'll read out some of these comments while we're waiting for Lottie to find her charger. Scott, should be top show with you and Gary. I'm back at work now after 4 months lockdown, but hoping I can sneak it in. Yeah, listen, the kids will not notice you watching your phone. Don't worry. Scott, awesome. Didn't know that. Hadn't spoken to Gary. So great to get you on, bud. Thank you. And hopefully we'll get you on here soon, Scott, or else I'll hopefully get on with you on your main shows, because we've been talking about it for a while now. Chris, as I said on Twitter, Palace are where you expect right now. He's done nothing special. They are just lucky that teams like Norwich are there. You wouldn't be surprised if they ended in the bottom 3. Buzz3210, I agree, Lottie. We seem to have a very childish fan base who stay a legend. Vieira, Lee, I'm with you on that, Lottie. I think he's doing great at Crystal Palace, but I think we're okay with Arteta. Scott, don't know if I agree with you, but Patrick Vieira should be doing better. People were tipping them for the drop, and we're predicting he'd be the first manager sacked. Fair enough. He's got some very young players like Gallagher doing quite well, and he's also getting a tune out of players.
You got to
Russ,
admit, Stephen, he's had some bargains this summer. For Vieira, he's had some really good players come up.
Palace are a different animal under Vieira. Crystal Palace fans should be pleased with how they are performing. Chris, I think a lot of teams, their whole season is about staying in the league. That's why they put out kids in the cup games. Tom, I don't think teams at Palace can compete financially. Scott, 100% yes, best midfielder of his type. Tenacious, skilled, and a natural leader. Patrick Vieira was the best in our midfield that I've ever seen. Lee, Sanson, McClintock, Vieira is definitely in there with those in that position from Chris.
I'm not old enough to remember those guys, Chris. Sorry. It's Vieira all the way.
And then John, yes, hands down, Vieira was a very good midfielder for us, a strong leader and commanding whenever he played. I think he played alongside Petit and Joe Burlow, so he had excellent midfield partners. Yeah, I mean, he was a great midfielder, but he was also blessed with the quality that he had alongside him. And I think that's sometimes the problem we have now, is that we have some great players, but then the players beside them just aren't the same quality. You know, you look at that Invincibles team and the quality was just all over the pitch. Whereas you look at the teams the last few years and it's been one or two top quality players and just nothing around them. Russ, he's the best central midfielder I've seen play for the club. As I was saying, I don't know if you heard what I was saying when you were looking for your charger, Lottie. I was just saying that.
Oh, no, I was on the other side of my house. What did I miss?
No, I was just saying, for me, you know, Vieira, in terms of leadership, in terms of what he won, what he did for the club, yeah, he was an absolute great. But I think as a player, technically wise, I thought Diaby had the potential to be better than him, but we just never got to see it because of the injuries.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Definitely agree with you on that one.
But for an overall package, yes, Vieira would be the best midfielder.
I think Diaby's the closest we've came to actually replacing him. We haven't had anyone like him since, but Diaby came closer. The closest, I should say.
Yeah. So, tomorrow night, do you want to talk me through your predicted lineup and why you've gone with this?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping this is your one.
Yes, that is. It's been unchanged since Norwich. Well, not Norwich because we had 34 in there, but yeah, it's basically unchanged. I'm quite happy. I'm confident with that back 5. It just goes without saying that they're all my preferable starters for every game. So the middle of the park, there's really no one else to go there, like with Sambi, with Partey, I should say. So it's Sambi ahead of Elneny for me. And then we've got Aubameyang at the top. He likes scoring at home at the moment, so I went with him over Lacazette because I have a feeling that we're going to see Lacazette for Leeds. And then we've got Saka on the right because he likes scoring. Most of his goals come from the right-hand side. I've left Pepe on the bench at the moment because he's not firing on all cylinders for me at the moment. There's something not right there. I mean, he gets the goals, but it's a bit of a difficult time for him at the moment, I think. I don't know why, but I just feel that it is. Martin Odegaard in that number 10 of position. he's been great there. He did disappear a little bit in Brighton. I did feel kind of sorry for him up against the 6'4" guy. It was quite funny watching him be mark him up. And then we've got ESR on the left-hand side. I mean, I did catch a couple of clips of his goals for the under 23s or under 21s, one of the two. And his finishing is looking good. I'm just hoping that he's going to bring it back. The same with Bukayo. I mean, it was my birthday the night that he scored, so that was absolutely brilliant in the international break. Obviously, I didn't find out till the next day because I was out. So, but yeah, no, I just hope that Smith Rowe and Saka bring back that finishing for some goals this week on Monday night and Friday.
Excuse me. Tomiyasu had it's fair to say, not a great game against Brighton. He seemed to struggle. How do you think he's going to fare up against the likes of Zaha?
Personally, I think Gabriel's taking him home in his pocket, but I think Tomiyasu will be all right. He's when he's at Arsenal, I find that, well, at the Emirates, I should say, I find that he's a different beast altogether. Where we've watched him away, he's been great. He's been okay. He was okay at Brighton, not absolutely fantastic, but I think he's a different player when he's got the home support behind him. I mean, they all are when they're feeding off their energy, but I think he'll be all right with Zaha. He's no nonsense, but I still think Gabriel put him in his pocket.
Okay.
Personally.
Fair enough. I mean, just read some of the comments here. Mike Sampson was good left back, and Frank McClintock, great captain, but a centre back. Lee, such a shame. Ari Diaby, classy player who had so many injuries. Ross Santi was probably the best creative outlet I've seen. Yeah. Santi Cazorla was
little magician. Loved him.
Jamie saying, right, it's obviously coming onto your lineup. That lineup suits me, result and fantasy football points. I'm not going to talk about fantasy football. Chris Pepe is a run of games player. He seems to need 3 to 4 games before he gets going. And Lee saying 11 out of 11. So obviously, people seem to agree with the team that you've picked there, and it's hard to fault it. Smith Rowe and Odegaard seem to play quite well together. They seem to have a good understanding. My only concern with that lineup is that Odegaard tends to drift to the right, and Smith Rowe tends to then drift in to try and fill that number 10, and it leaves Tierney with an awful lot of work to do down that left-hand side, and that's what I'm saying about needing an out-and-out winger. Someone who can sort of hug that touchline. It does mean that, if we get that sort of player, that either Smith Rowe or Odegaard will end up getting dropped. If we go that formation.
I think the way they're both playing, I don't think it's likely at the moment. The way they're both playing at the moment is going to be a hard call.
Yeah. So just to then, I'll bring up, obviously, G had done his team. I hadn't done a team tonight. G had done a team. But as I know G's sort of thought process, I'll bring this up and talk you through what he's got. So obviously he's gone with Ramsdale in goal. It's interesting that, everybody now accepts that Ramsdale has replaced Leno as number 1. Sorry, go ahead.
For me, it's a trust thing. I trust him more than I trust Leno. I mean, if anyone's been in the ground and you're sitting behind his goal, he will, when he's not doing anything, he'll turn around and like say, "Why are you being quiet for?" He gets the crowd going. He's a fans player. So I'd rather have him than someone just stands there and looks actually bored, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. So then we've got Tomiyasu at right back, Ben White and Gabriel in the centre, and Tierney at left back. In the middle of the park, a bit like yourself, he's gone for Sambi and Partey. And I think, again, G would tend to agree with most people and sort of stick with this 4-2-3-1, which seems to have worked best for us, aside from the sort of the 5 at the back. Although I do still think that Arteta wants to transition to the 4-3-3. And the lack of central midfielders is potentially the opportunity to do that. But I do, I kind of go with this as well. I think, it'll be Sambi and Partey in midfield again. He's then gone for Saka on the right with Pepe on the left. And I'm pretty sure the reason he's gone for Pepe on the left is Pepe seems to raise his game when he's up against Zaha. There's that sort of, they're both Ivory Coast. I think Pepe knows fine rightly that, at the time Emery wanted Zaha, he didn't want Pepe. And he always seems to raise his game when he's playing against them to sort of prove that, he was the right choice. He does seem to do quite well against Palace, so I think that's why he's gone for him. He's then gone for ESR in the number 10 role rather than Odegaard. I'm not sure why he's picked that. I would say it's probably, ESR's energy. And, he's been playing really, really well lately. And I think probably slightly easier in terms of the balance of form to drop Odegaard than it is ESR. Although, personally, I think ESR's range of passing isn't quite as good as Odegaard's. It's getting there, but I just don't think it's quite at the same level yet. And I think by the time Smith Rowe, by the time he reaches Odegaard's age, there's 2 or 3 years between them. I think he'll be levels above Odegaard.
Definitely.
But I just think at the minute, I would probably put Odegaard in ahead of him. And then Aubameyang up top because, we've said this time and time again, he is the most natural goal scorer in the team. Although he's not getting a massive amount of goals, he is our most natural goal scorer. And hopefully, we can get a couple. I know I've put him back in my fantasy team. I don't know why I did that, but I did. And I need him to get some goals tomorrow night. So, and if he doesn't, then Hudson Edward at Palace needs to get me a couple.
No, he doesn't.
No.
Sacrifice the FPL. You got to stay loyal. I'm sorry. I know there's no loyalty in FPL, but when it's your own team, no.
No, absolutely.
No goals. Sacrifice the point.
Yeah, that's the team that that G had picked. Probably, I would go for the same team, but I would swap Smith Rowe for Odegaard. Personally, I might even be inclined to try the 4-3-3 again, and mix it up a bit. But yeah, probably that's what I would go with Odegaard instead of Smith Rowe, and then potentially in the second half move to the 4-3-3. So you guys in the chat, he's confident for tomorrow night. What's your sort of thoughts in terms of anything different in terms of lineup? Firstly, and what are your score predictions? Drop them in the chat now. I'll just clear my screen down there. So, drop those in the chat while we have a bit more talk about the score and stuff. Are you confident ahead of the game tomorrow?
Yes, I'm gonna go with a yes. As I said earlier in the show, he's coming home, but he's not allowed to win. As much as we all love him, he's not allowed to. We're at home. You're not winning. End of story. So, just hopefully we get the right starting 11 to go up against them.
Yeah. Okay, we'll come on to our score predictions in a wee sec. For anybody that is new to the channel, just to let you know, we do have a wee score predictor league between me, G, Lottie, and you guys as the guests and as the the sort of fans of the show and stuff. And the way it works, we predict the scores each week for the games, for the Premier League games. If we get a correct score, we get 3 points. If we get a correct result, we get 1 point. And obviously, if we don't get any of them correct, we get no points. I haven't got the scores offhand at the minute, but I know the guests are currently winning. We will also each week pick one person to represent the guests or the fans, and they will get a £1 bet placed on their score prediction. And any money that we win goes into a pot, and at the end of the season, that money is going to go to charity, and this season the charity is going to be Air Ambulance Northern Ireland, which is it's a charity close to my heart after one of my friends had to be airlifted after he came off his motorbike in a crash when he was racing at a track over here a few weeks back. So the guys very kindly said that any money we raise this season for charity, that could be our charity of choice. And we will do other things during the season to hopefully raise a wee bit more money. So with that said, G's score prediction, and I've got it here, was he is going to go 1-0 to Arsenal. I'm going to say 3-0 to Arsenal. What's your score prediction, Lottie?
Okay, so on Friday night, I was on Albert's channel, and I had originally said 2-1. And I'm going to stick with 2-1.
Okay, 2-1.
Because we all know what Zaha's like.
Yeah. So we have Jamie's going 3-0. Suarez, if everyone is fit, then I'm happy with Lottie's unchanged lineup. I hope to see Saka getting an assist or a goal. And he's going to go 2-1 for Arsenal as well. Chris also going 2-1. Pepe second half winner from a free kick. Brilliant.
Long as Smith Rowe scores, I don't care.
Yeah.
Or is involved when it comes to fantasy football. As long as he's involved.
Everybody else in the chat, drop your scores in now quickly. Lee Meadows, if you're still in the chat, we'll give you a second. I know Lottie had contacted you before, and you have been the lucky person who's been selected to give your score prediction this week on behalf of the guests. So we'll let you type it in yourself. And we'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. If you don't, we know it anyway. Lottie can tell us. Where have we got Tom? I'd say 3-1. Undo them with a bit of pace down the wings. Russ saying 3-0. I'm going big. Same as myself. I'm going to say 3-0. And I'm going to make a bold prediction that Tom's party is going to get his first Arsenal goal tomorrow night.
Whoa.
And I'm going to make an even bolder prediction and say it's not going to be from outside the box.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I'm so sorry. He likes to shoot from outside the box. I'm really sorry, Stephen. That is a very bold prediction.
Yeah.
Very bold.
So, Thomas Partey is going to score from inside the box.
Oh.
First goal this season, not ever. I think
Reference
it's
on
his
my
first
page.
goal for Arsenal, though. He hasn't scored for Arsenal yet, sure he hasn't.
I don't think he has. I don't remember him scoring, unless I missed the game or something.
Yeah. Tom saying a bullet header. Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm going to go bold as well, and I quite fancy Tomiyasu header in the box. I'm going to go for it.
All right. Lee, we'll give you another 30 seconds if you're still in the chat. Drop your score in before I tell people the odds on what you predicted. Anybody else want to chime in with a score prediction?
Okay, I'll tell you what, Stephen. Guys, who's scoring tomorrow? Who's the most likely to score? Well, you think will score.
If Partey scores tomorrow, coffee treat from my side. Russ, I thought you were talking about Pepe, not Partey. Right, okay. Sorry, yeah. Pepe hasn't got a goal this season, has he? He didn't get one against West Brom, did he?
He did.
No, he did. Yes, he got one against West Brom.
He did. He got one. He did.
I'm sure he did.
I
Chris
think it was
Palace.
if I remember rightly, it was a deflection off one of his shots, and then he was in the right place at the right time, and it went in.
Chris Palace going to play that Zimbabwe goalkeeper who had Bruce Grobler, looked like David Seaman. 4-2, and I want to see a Partey 30-yard screamer.
Ooh, nice.
Maybe if he takes it from 30 yards away from Arsenal's goal, by the
I'd say
time
the halfway line.
It'll maybe dip down enough.
Halfway line. Maybe so.
Yeah. Ross, don't worry, Pepe won't start anyway. Where we've got Gary Scott, 98. Gary, a new subscriber to the channel, I believe. 2-1
Yeah.
with Oba and Saka to score.
Oh, very nice.
Right.
And there he is.
There he is. 4-1 Arsenal, Oba double, White and Saka. So Lee, as I say, was selected as the person whose score prediction we're going to put the bet on. 4-1 to Arsenal is odds of 25-1. So if it's 4-1, we will get £26 back for our charity. So I'd be more than happy with Arsenal winning 4-1 for many reasons. Goal difference, good performance, and £26 for charity.
I've got a comment from Kevin Gibson on my Twitter page. He's calling 3-1 to Arsenal.
3-1. Thank you, Kevin. Chris saying Oba and Pepe to score, and Suarez, Pepe and Aubameyang to score with assists from ESR and Saka.
Smith Rowe's going to score. He's got to score. I need him to score and get an assist for a decent weekend. He has to.
To be fair, I need Aubameyang, White, and Kearney all to score. Because
you need a teeny clean sheet. Let's get that straight. I got 4 clean sheets this weekend. I'm so proud of myself.
I've got 18 points this weekend.
Oh, did you not use your wild card over the break?
No.
I did.
Yes, but you used your wild card like the day of the first day of the international break.
Yeah,
and then
I had
you were
2 weeks
moaning
to
the
sit
other
there.
night that half the players were injured.
And then that's because I forgot the wild card was active. And I was like, oh, I can change my whole team. And I did. And I had a very good week. I've got 1 to play tomorrow.
Russ, I found a random ball in my garden the other week. It was one of Party's shots against Brighton.
Brilliant.
Charlie, evening Charlie. Haven't seen you about for a bit. 1-0. Excellent. Tom, I hope Laka comes on in the second half and grabs one. Chris, has nobody noticed that we now played twice before anybody else and 2 wins? We would be sitting 4th. Wow, yeah, because we're also at Villa on Friday night.
Yeah, I'm going twice this week. I'm going to 3 games in 8 days. I'm so happy. Football's back. Lottie
is catching me up this week for sure. 46 points so far.
Ooh, I'm only I think I'm 1 point behind you, Suarez. I told you I was going to catch up with you, mate.
It's good to see everybody's confident that we're going to win. You know, that's the nice thing.
Yeah, normally Palace are my bogey too. And when I was with my ex-boyfriend, he was a Palace fan, and it was just an absolute nightmare. But that 3-1, the last 3-1 win was absolutely glorious. I didn't hear from him for 2 weeks. It was great, but past is a past. So yeah, hopefully we've got the team. We've got our normal starting 11 now. Hopefully we'll just smash them.
Why we play on Monday and Friday is crazy. And Russ, that was a bit harsh but funny.
I think we're playing Friday because we're playing Tuesday night. To be honest with you, we play Leeds Tuesday.
The following Tuesday.
Yep, we play. Yeah.
Yes,
that's why it's 3 games in 8 days.
Yeah, I think obviously the harsh but funny was about Party's shot being found in Russ's garden.
No, Russ's last comment, why we play on a Monday and a Friday is crazy. It's because we're playing Carabao Cup on Tuesday.
Tom, why are we playing tomorrow and Friday? Both 8 p.m. kickoff. Honestly, I have to get up for work at 6 tomorrow. It's an hour and a half to get home with no train delays. Chris, talking Fantasy League, did you see Ben Foster captained Salah for the game against Watford?
No. No way. It's brilliant. To be fair, I did, half my points this weekend have come from Salah. I think he bagged everybody about 26, depending if you captained him or not. He got bonus points as well. So happy days.
Charlie, I can see it being a tough game purely because we haven't beaten them at home for a while. I think it will be like Burnley, where we just need to get over the line.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible, but we'll see.
Just actually, I see Charlie's name there. I don't know if, hopefully you've all seen, obviously with us not being on air for a couple of weeks and we had the postponed Friday show, I did put up a wee video on the channel, which was the first in our new series of fans' favourites, where we interview fans and basically just talk about your favourite things to do with Arsenal and past games and stuff like that. And the first one we did was Liam, who's a good friend of Lottie's, and I believe we have one of Charlie, don't we?
Yes, we do. I did one with Charlie.
So
yeah.
Charlie's video, I think, will probably be dropped this week at some point, probably middle of the week. Charlie will drop your video out and people can see your favourites. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch that, go back, obviously tonight after the show or tomorrow or whatever, and have a watch of Liam's. Get an idea for what the show is. And if anybody is interested in being interviewed by myself, G, or Lottie, and taking part in fans' favourites, just drop us a wee DM to any one of us, and we'll sort it out. And yeah, we'll get you interviewed. We'll set it up, and because we want to do a lot of these, and you sort of drop maybe 1 or 2 a week, and then certainly when there's international periods, we can put a few more out, and keep the Cannon Chatter love going, and keep us relevant for people. Lee, I'm on 53 points so far. Alba White and Saka to play. Lottie, all your points have come from Salah. Might need to use my curse to stop you winning.
That's all right. Let me know when you get him in, and I'll hit that triple captain, and I'll hit that bench boost. All good. When you're ready, Chris.
And Charlie saying, love that, guys. Thank you, Charlie. So yeah, anybody does want to do fans' favourites, just give us a wee shout and we'll get it set up. I know I have a few to record there that I've been speaking with people with, and I just haven't 2 minutes, but we'll get it done. Because it's good, it's a bit of fun, something a bit different. Okay. Lottie, anything else you want to talk about tonight?
Well, obviously, fantasy football is off the menu at the moment, I'm afraid, guys. Obviously, game week ends tomorrow, so hopefully I will have an update at the Villa preview. You can find out how well me, Stephen, and G have done this week. As most people can tell at the moment, I'm quite smug because I'm back to winning my points again. Stephen's not too happy from what he's just seen earlier, and you can see on his face. I think G's actually climbed the table this week because I was scrolling through, and as always, I find G before I find Stephen. Stephen's usually above G somewhere. Don't ask me how it works. It's a bit strange. But obviously we'll have a proper update for the Villa preview.
Yeah.
And has anybody else used their wild cards yet? That's what I'd like to know from the chat.
I have a feeling my wild card might have to be played this week. Mm-hmm. What pub are you all meeting up on Friday? Me and my mate are going to get to London for about 5ish.
Yeah.
I was going to go to the Tollington.
Tom will be in the Tolly. I'm coming from work, so I won't be there till maybe about 6:30. But then I'm going to probably have a quick one, and then shoot off to the ground because it takes about 45 minutes to get in.
Excellent. Just on that, actually, obviously, if anybody's going to the game tomorrow night or Friday night, we'll do a fans photos for the week after.
Yes.
So any photos tomorrow or Friday from, obviously, if you're going to the game, photos traveling to the game, photos from around the ground, photos at the pub before or after. And even if you're not going to the game, take a photo of yourself watching the game at home or, at your local pub or at your mate's house or whatever, and DM them to us, either to Lottie, myself, or G, and we'll put together another wee show another wee sort of quick slideshow that we'll do on the review of the Villa game. We'll do fans photos because it's always great. Everybody loves seeing, how other people are watching the games, especially because we have viewers on here from all over the world. So like Swara always sends pictures from India of himself getting ready to watch the games. We usually have Antonio, who's not on tonight, send us some from America. So we love to see it. Quick picture of how you're enjoying the game. And we'll put together a wee slideshow. Lottie, you want to say something there?
No, it's just perfect.
Okay. Russ, what's the code? DM Lottie after. And
Russ, I'm really sorry, but I'm not adding any more in. It closed back at the beginning of August, and we're too far in the season. I've had quite a few people come back, but please come and join us next season, I'm afraid.
Fair enough. Lottie's call. Swear it, I'm on 80th. Lottie's on 83rd.
I've got rid of that triple figure now. I'm quite happy. I'm coming back up
Hasn't
the
used his
table.
wild card yet.
Okay.
And yeah, it's ridiculous. You don't get there at least an hour before.
Yeah.
Obviously, talking about
The one thing I do enjoy about being a female, they don't have enough female stewards, and if I take a big bag, I can jump the queue. So, ladies, if you're watching, take a massive bag with you. You can jump the queue, and the person with you can come through as well.
general admission tomorrow is 6:30 p.m. for anyone going.
Yeah. It's from 6:30.
John also hasn't used his wild card.
Good call.
I think after tomorrow night, my wild card may have to come into play.
Yeah.
I had a good wee run, but it's gone downhill the last couple of games. So.
Oh, I missed consistency. I went from 62, 62, 70, 70, 50, and then I dropped down to 52, 51, 41, and I was like, no, that's it. Wild card. I'm
Nobody
consistent
cares.
now. I am
Nobody cares what
consistent.
you've done.
It's my first season. Leave me alone. I'll probably be awful after this year. I'm enjoying it though. I am enjoying it. And as you say, I'm an absolute geek for it.
Guys, if you have any last questions or comments, drop them in the chat now, and we'll come back to them in a wee sec. Just before Lottie takes us through our socials and stuff, I just want to say we still have our subscriber challenge. We missed the first part, which was to get to 500 subscribers for the start of the season, and I was going to bleach my hair. We still have a chance of getting G to bleach his hair and beard and moustache, but not his eyebrows because he draws the line at something. But we have to reach 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. Or not by Christmas, sorry, by New Year.
New Year's Eve.
So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button now. Also, make sure to hit the like button while you're doing this and while you're listening. Hit that like button. It all helps with the algorithms. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel now. And make sure and obviously tell any friends, family who are Arsenal supporters just to get on, hit that subscribe button, maybe tune into a show. And hopefully, they'll enjoy what they see. What we find is that people come along just to see one show and stay. And our base is growing all the time, and it's great to see. And it's great to see, we have so many regular names back in the chat all the time. And we love you guys for it. So thank you. And obviously, that's one part of the challenge. The next part of the sub challenge is if we can hit 2,000 subscribers by the start of next season. Then Lottie is going to get a tattoo. What that tattoo is, we don't know. We will each design a tattoo and we'll put it out for public vote. And whoever gets the most votes, Lottie's going to get that tattoo. And it will be either live streamed or videoed and put up on YouTube for everybody to see.
Yeah, thanks to G and his his friend or
yes, one of his best mates owns a tattoo parlor in London, and I think we'll have to find a way if that happens to get over and video that, so I can be there and take part in that because I think that would be really good fun. And yeah, I have some very, very bad ideas for what Lottie's going to get.
Why do you think I picked a triple figure?
Yeah, it's going to be
I'm
tough.
not silly.
But you know what?
I'm not silly. I know it's not impossible, but I'm not silly.
I hear Gunner on the move. So yeah, make sure and get subscribing. Get everybody subscribing. You know what? Take your friends' phones, your parents' phones, your family members, your work colleagues. Just take their phones, go on to YouTube, subscribe to our channel. Don't even have to tell them. Just do it. Just do it. Right, Lottie, give us a quick run through on the socials before we take the last few comments.
Okay, so if you want to come find us on Facebook, it's type into search bar at top of the page. Canon Chatter. It's the same for Instagram, but it's Canon_Chatter. You've also now joined TikTok, and that is Canon_Chatter. Admittedly, I haven't kept up with it, but I've got some pretty cool drafts saved. So keep an eye on that. On Twitter, if you want to follow us, follow the channel's account, which is our main account, is at Canon Chatter. If you want to follow my co-host sitting over this side of the screen, it's at SB Canon Chatter. Or if you want to follow G, who's not here tonight, it's at G Talks Arsenal. Or if you want to follow me, it's at Lottie_B. Spelled with 2 T's and 2 I's because someone took the normal spelling. Yeah, they did. And I weren't happy about it either. Also, I still haven't dropped my Brighton blog yet, but I have got it sitting there. I've just got to find the energy to read over that game again and make sure everything's perfect before I drop it. But if you want to relive the Spurs game, which was absolutely glorious, I've got photos, I've got videos from being in the stands and the clock end where the goals went in. Definitely go check it out. It's lottieafc.blogspot.co.uk. Also, if you like my hoodie or Stephen's t-shirt, you can actually purchase them now. If you'd like one, please, you can email info@canonchatter.com or DM Stephen at sbcanonchatter.
They are available in other colours, and all the information is in the description of the video. Okay, right. Last few comments, and then that will be us. We are back. I'm not sure. Possibly Wednesday night. I'm not sure. We'll talk about it and we'll let you know. We're just trying to decide whether we do 2 shows this week or just 1. But we'll let you know. Right, comments. We've got to Russ. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you, Russ. I need to get a steward's job at Arsenal. That would be fun. Chris, yeah. Tom, that is dangerous. I'm presuming we're talking about the tattoo. It is dangerous considering what I have in mind, and I know everybody's going to vote for my ideas.
Oh no.
Can we have Cazorla back at Arsenal as part of Arteta's coaching team? Yeah, I mean, I think as long as Arteta keeps his job, we will more than likely see Cazorla back. Probably next season, I would say. I think he's getting close to calling it a day, but and I know that's something that was discussed before, and I think it more than likely will happen.
I'd be very excited if he comes back. I love Santi. I love him.
Yeah.
Be very excited to have him back. Even if it is coaching team, it's just like, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. With that said, I think that's the end of the comments, potentially the end of the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We really appreciate the support. And if you're watching live, thank you. If you're watching this back later on, thank you as well. Make sure, as I say, and get over and check out the first of our fans' favourite videos if you haven't already seen it. And if you do like what you see and you want to get involved and you want to be, do a bit of a recording with us for fans' favourites, it's a bit of fun. It's only going to be me and you, or Lottie and you, or G and you. So you're not in front of a live camera if you're a bit camera shy. So we can, there's nothing to worry about. And potentially we may find some superstars on there that we can get on live shows all the time. Can we have Cazorla just to get every player playing with both feet? That would be great.
That is a genius idea. I love that. That's brilliant, Buzz.
Yeah. Right. Other than that, as I say, we'll be back at some point during the week. Lottie, have you a couple more comments quickly? Buzz 3210, good night all, good night. Make sure you've subscribed. Always a pleasure to be involved. Take care all. Thank you, Lee. And hopefully we got our 4-1 win. Lottie, any final words?
I think my advice of the week is think before you tweet. But other than that, have a good morning, have a good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world.
Excellent, thank you. And for me, again, thanks for watching. Big win tomorrow night. That's all we want. Get those fans' photos in. And yeah, we'll see you during the week, hopefully in really good mood. Take care. God bless.